If you want to teach your child naturally spoken English at home, but you feel like you use too much of your first language with your child, this video is for you. I'm going to answer a question that a mom wrote on my YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. If you have any questions about your own family or your own child, please write a comment down below and I will try to respond. Maybe I will respond in one of my future videos. And for any parents watching who have babies or young children at home, and who are super serious about teaching them English, I have a special program for you, which you can learn more about in the description down below.
So she says, "Hello, thank you for the video. It is so helpful. My daughter has been listening to songs in English and Japanese at home since she was born. She's now 2.5 years old. I sometimes read children's books to her in Japanese. I've noticed that she memorizes the words very well and sings them throughout the day, but I'm a little concerned that she doesn't understand the meaning of the words, even though she's mastering the pronunciation well. And when I try to explain them to her, I have to use a lot of her native language, Russian. I think this loses the effectiveness in the whole point, and it's starting to feel like studying in the literal sense. So I will say that I think it's just kind of normal for kids to not understand lots of words, even in their first languages, and just sing them and say them. Kids just do this. They say things that they don't understand. It's probably also one of the reasons why children are sometimes better language learners than adults. Not always, but sometimes, because they are much more free to just practice saying things, practice pronunciation without worrying about if they understand or not. So for a 2.5-year-old to be singing things in English and not understanding the words is pretty normal, I would say. My son was just listening to his Yoto player, his little music player this morning, where he listens to a lot of French and Spanish songs. And very often there are vocabulary words that he's just singing. He's just singing the words to the song. And I know that he does not know those vocabulary words, even though this is one of his first languages, French. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, he does the same thing sometimes with English songs. There are some like traditional English songs for kids, or like rhymes for kids that have old-fashioned words in them that don't really make sense, or the songs are just kind of weird and don't really make sense, but he just sings them because it's a catchy melody and he's not really thinking about the words. He just sings the songs in English and French and Spanish. And then she seems to be worried or concerned that she is explaining these words or having to explicitly explain the vocabulary words in Russian. There seems to be this really strong myth that the best way to learn is with zero translation. So dropping a person or a child into a place where they are surrounded by English and just having English and nothing else bombarded at them. And there is probably a percentage of people who thrive in this environment, who do well in this environment. But for most children and most people, it's still going to take a lot of time to learn something if you are dropped into an environment with zero translation. The fastest and most effective way to learn vocabulary, to learn a language, is through pictures and gestures and real context. So if you show a child a book and you say book in English in a conversation that they care about, they will be more likely to remember the word book than if you say book and then give them a quick translation in Russian, in this case, in your first language. So definitely like an object or a picture or a gesture is better, is more effective than a translation, but a translation is still fine. Sometimes the only thing we have is translation. Sometimes that is the only way that we can explain something in that situation, in that moment. And that's okay, especially for a really young child. Giving them an explanation in their first language giving them a translation is really comforting. It gives them a strong sense of support because they already speak another language. And so you are supporting their next language with the other language. There's nothing wrong with that. For sequential bilingualism, when you're learning a language, when you already speak a first language, it's really helpful to use your first language to help you learn the second language. And it can build a lot of confidence in children. They've already taken a lot of time to learn their first language. So why not use these skills that they already have to help them learn English? I don't see a problem with this. Now, eventually, it would be great if we can use less and less Russian in her case during English time. So maybe she wants to reduce that amount of translation slowly over time as her child becomes more and more confident and more skillful in English. Right now, maybe her child needs that support, but she can start to reduce it little by little over time. This is where it's helpful to be super intentional and to have a plan and to be really aware of how much of the first language we're speaking and how much English we're speaking. If you're not sure, you could even record yourself. Record your conversations with your child and try to examine how much English you're actually speaking together.
If you enjoyed that, you should watch this video next, which is a masterclass all about how to teach English at home to your child. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.